your horror movie podcast.
Oh, I'm keeping that in.
Oh, we're going?
Yeah, it's already recorded.
Oh, what is up, horror fans? Welcome back to another episode. And you know what? Before we get going with this, why don't you hit the subscribe button, give us some likes, maybe even share it. That would really help us a lot. And for this one, I am so excited. Do you like fun? Do you like really stupid horror? Do you like horror movies that are so bad that they're actually good? Do you see what I did there? You know why I did that? Because I want you to suspend your sense of belief, take an imaginary trip to New Zealand with us, and get ready to experience the violence of the lambs with 2007's Black Sheep. How you guys doing today?
Guys, if you like Shaun of the Dead, this is going to be a sheer good time. I love the puns in this movie so much.
Oh my god, dude. This
so incredible.
Waterboy, how we doing? What was your expectation rating going into this?
I don't trust Justin with a lot of movies after Frogs. But I thought it was going to be bad.
Bad.
But you know, my expectation going into this was probably like a 3 or a 4.
Oh my god.
But that did change.
All right.
And we'll find out in a little while.
Well, my expectation rating, if someone had put this movie down in front of me, would be like a 2. Because I'm like, what the fuck is that cover? Like, what is going on right now? Based off of Justin's hype, I was expecting a 9. So I decided to meet myself somewhere in the middle, and my expectation was going to be like a 5.5.
Fair enough. And
then I watched the trailer to try and make like some kind of TikTok for this, and it went up, and I was expecting it to be like a 7. This movie is all over the goddamn map for me.
I love it, and I just want to talk about why I picked this. So, if anyone's watching, I actually own this movie in DVD. If you see this ridiculous cover, shout out my sister Joanna. She bought this for me for Christmas, like way back in the day. And if anyone actually can see that cover, it's incredible. And it says there are 40 million sheep in New Zealand, and they're pissed off. So my expectation, and for some whatever reason, I love this, but I put it in my horror collection, and I forgot about it for years and years. And just from looking at the pictures of the back of the DVD, my expectation rating was a 12.5 out of 10. And I already knew it was going to be the most incredible thing I've ever experienced. So we'll say, yeah, my expectation was a 12.5. And actually, this was actually a first time watch because, like I said, I forgot about it, even though I love these kind of movies and I've owned this for probably like 10 years.
Dude, I am so glad we did this movie. Justin, you have been hyping this up and wanting to do this for so long. And the fact that you ran around the annex asking people if they like were sheep, zombie sheeps that drive cars.
Yeah. So
no one was as hyped as you were.
It went bad, guys. If you guys are listening, so I just known to show my excitement. Like, I just don't care. I am who I am. I get excited about things. I don't care. Like, if you're alive, I say we fucking act like it. And I was very excited about this. So I was running around work, asking people if they like sheep horror movies, asking if they like werewolf sheep, were sheep, and yeah, I got almost laughed out of the building. No one was feeling it.
I love when people laugh at you or look at you crooked. You were like, the fuck is wrong with you? You don't like sheep that drive cars? Do you even like life?
Yeah, I asked them if they like fun. And honestly, like people literally laugh in my face, and I'm not joking.
We need more animals driving cars, honestly.
I just get laughed at, man.
Dude, if anyone at work has the opportunity to watch this movie, they need to.
Right? I'm about to look up all the different horror movies where animals drive cars.
Is he really?
I don't know, like, do people even like fun? I don't even get it. Like, who's starting this off?
Is there more than one sheep horror movie?
I don't look it up. I'll edit this out.
Yeah,
like the Dead Space.
They are, Justin. There's more than one.
Oh, don't get me too excited. This is a whole subgenre. I love my zombie horror movies. My beavers.
You love your beaver?
I love beavers.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Someone just start talking. Right. Let's fly through this.
I'm leading this off. Welcome to somewhere in the world. We're on a journey for black sheep, guys. It's in New Zealand. It's a thing.
I didn't see a single black sheep.
There's lots of greenery. We open up to some sheep bleeding. Yes, I said bleeding because that's what the fucking subtitles told me they were doing. I didn't look it up, but I'm assuming that's what that running around is. Is that a thing, guys? Do you know what that is, Justin? Do you bleed?
Do you bleed?
We are 1 second into this and we're already talking about like I don't even know what you're talking about.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
My dear God,
dude, bleating. That's what my subtitles told me they were doing.
It literally subtitles.
It's a thing, dude. Waterboy, do you watch movies with subtitles?
Oh, I do, because
did you only start watching this when you started watching movies with subtitles? Was it because the missus did it first?
Don't get me going on this.
No, I did it because I was listening to another podcast and everybody was laughing at because when you watch like Amazon movies, they take
up half the fucking screen and they don't match up.
Exactly, they don't match up, and you'll find some hilarious things put in there.
Sorry, Justin.
We said 1 second. Let's go fast. We don't need to talk about every single second.
So we open up to some sheep's bleeding. It looks like father and his boys are herding the sheep with some quads, and it goes right into the opening credits. We meet Angus, who gives us a beautiful nursery rhyme before killing Dudley the sheep. Henry comes home now to look for his sheep, and his just sick piece of shit fucking brother has killed this sheep, skinned it alive, or fucking, I don't even know if it was still alive, but skinned it, and then put it on as a fucking costume. And at this point in the movie, I don't know who this woman is, so I just wrote down the mother walks in completely unfazed and says there's been an accident. She's not the mother. I do refer to her as the grandmother because I didn't know who the hell she was. And it turns out she's like an aunt or something.
Yeah,
that's normal behavior.
But we fast forward to a terrified adult version of Henry surrounded by sheep in a car on his way home. Angus is out lollygagging in a plane while a couple of vegetarians hop a fence to the property. Henry hugs grandma when he gets home, but he's creeped out by like the fur animal skin coat fucking scarf thing she's wearing. Like it's almost like he's allergic to this stuff. He's so paranoid by it. He then travels outside to go meet Angus, who's rehearsing a speech about Oddfield, and Henry is pissed. He says that the only reason why he's there isn't just to collect his half, but it's because his therapist should go. And Angus laughs it off and says he's still sheepish. And he goes, no, not at all. And as he's walking away, he goes, bah, and he flinches. Yeah, dude, he gets skinned by his brother just going, bah.
You guys don't have sheep phobias? Jeez.
No.
I do now.
The vegetables are out taking photos of a meat processing plant. And one of those pesky tomatoes decides to just get up and run. And he goes down and he steals a canister of ooze out of a cooler and just runs away. This man sprints down there at full speed, and how he makes it up the hill that fast is beyond me. He's got cardio like one motherfucker. Hiding in the woods, they begin discussing their plans and how he deviated, and he's just a complete asshole. He looks at the container, and we realize there's an actual sheep in this container. And then he says, this is mine. This is ours. It's us, babe. It's completely us. And she begins to try to like let him off gently and tell him like there is no us. But before they can discuss their relationship, the scientists come barreling in and they start chasing this cucumber ass fucking tall weirdo guy running through the woods. And he drops
weirdo.
Wait, you looking at his ass?
And he drops the container containing Little Bo Peep. And in return, the baby just jumps on his back and starts eating his face. Yeah, he lost a sheep. We go back, and Angus is cutting a sweet check for $2 million to Henry. They bicker back and forth about the farm, about business, about Angus getting rid of their dad things. It's very like brotherly and not wholesome. And you can tell there's a lot of tension between the two because it appears that Henry left that farm when he was 10 years old and just dipped out and left his brother to run things. He's kind of pissed that he doesn't have anything of his dad's, but Granny comes in clutch and she gives Henry their golden shears trophy.
Let's go.
Granny forces Henry now to go up to the top of the farm with his buddy named Tucker, who's the local farmhand. They want him to move on because he hasn't been up there since the accident. And so far, we still don't know what the accident is that they're referring to. This little sheep ain't fucking around. He tries taking a chomp out of another big sheep. He's got no fear. And I don't know if you guys got this feeling, but it was almost like he was crying out for help because he was getting tired of walking up the hill. And the sheep came to help him, and he was like, psych, bitch, and takes a chomp out of his face. That sheep is now blocking the truck. So the boys get out to move it. and this wild ass eggplant shows up and steals their gun. Cut back to Killer Tomato feasting on a rabbit in the middle of the woods. And then we go right back to the eggplant. And she's holding the boys at gunpoint. What's up?
I have a quick question. Are you referring to these people as eggplants and tomatoes just so I can follow along? Is that what's happening?
They're vegetarians. And the only thing I can think of is in the very beginning of the movie, we see like a hand-me-down version of Michael Myers' station wagon. And on the back, it just says meat is murder.
Okay.
And they're activists who like occupy, I think they said a salmon fish farm.
Yep. All right, I just want to make sure we're on the same page because I
decided to refer to them as vegetables for the entire movie.
Do I have to change my names now?
Also, what happens if any of our listeners are vegetarians and activists? Did we just lose?
That's fine, dude. I love eggplant, and I use tomatoes on everything.
Eggplant parm, bro.
Okay.
Never had it.
Yeah, dude, eggplant parm slaps. Back to that eggplant holding the boys at gunpoint. And she tells him he's got a bad aura, and his aura is just all wrong. She goes on this spiel, and Tucker just goes, your safety's on. And she's like, what? And he's like, yeah, the little thing that lets you shoot. He's like, it's still on. She's like, looking. He's like, right there around back. Yeah, just flick it down. He's giving her instructions on how to release the safety so she can shoot them properly.
Incredible.
All right, let me see that.
And then he convinces her. He's like, let me see. I'll do it. And she hands it to him. He shuts it up, and then he goes to give it back and goes, yeah, no, I'm keeping this. And then she just storms off. Like, she throws a temper tantrum and just walks away aggressively. Right after that, we see a guy in a kitchen who I have no idea who he is. He starts hearing noises and then immediately gets attacked. And then we go right back to this eggplant lady who now I find out her name is Experience.
She's got some experience.
Yeah, dude. I would imagine, like, could you calm
down.
Yeah, I'm just all right. Experience is now deciding to be a nice lady. And she's asking them for a ride back to her Michael Myers station wagon. No comment, Justin?
I actually did when I saw the station wagon. I'm like, oh,
that's all I could think of.
I know. I saw it right away. I'm like, oh, crap. Does that count as a Halloween reference?
I think it does.
You know, dude, you know that Leonardo DiCaprio thing where he's like sipping a coffee and he like spits it out and he starts pointing at the TV?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I did at the beginning of the movie, dude. I was sitting down and I was eating dinner and I had a Diet Coke and I almost spit it up and I pointed right at the TV and I went, Halloween reference.
No, I did that too because honestly, I'll just talk now. I couldn't find the other kind of one. And so I think I'm like, that could count because I also read how this director, he pays homage to a few different horror movies by putting little things in there. And that's the first thing I saw. I was like, that's funny that you said that. I literally wrote station wagon ? All right, sorry.
All right,
I guarantee you that's why they did it.
The group shows up to the kitchen, and apparently this guy's name is Mike. So they show up to Mike's place, and it is covered in sauce. There is sauce everywhere because this man left the stove on, and clearly he was cooking pasta to go with that eggplant, if you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. Experience complains, though, and the boys turn around, and they're like, what? What's wrong? And she goes, guys, the feng shui in this room is terrible. What? It
was.
You're on a farm?
She's right.
All right, just to start. And there is nothing around you, and you're going to complain about the feng shui. You're being attacked by killer sheep, and you're going to complain about the feng shui.
Feng shui is important.
I know.
Honestly, it's like 90%.
But when it's a matter of life and death, then you should probably not worry about
I thought you were having a seizure.
I did too. I just panicked. I'm like, oh, shit.
Stop recording.
This demonic Lamb of God then shows up and he charges them into a room and they see that Mike's dead. Experience screams and the goat just starts ramming the door. Eventually it puts its head through the door. They shout to shoot it. So Tucker puts a bullet right in this fucking sheep's chest. It backs off, but they fail to follow the double tap rule from
Zombieland.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
They failed to follow the double tap rule. Sorry, I was gonna burp. So naturally, it just comes right back through the hole, and they have to shout at him to shoot it again. Yep. Like he hesitates.
And did you notice the horror movie reference right there?
No, what was it?
When he
Shining.
The Shining. That
was it. The Shining.
Yeah, when he was the hair Johnny. That's literally why they did that with the. Yeah, puts his head through the wall. So that was a Shining reference because there was a bunch.
I was gonna say that, but I felt like I was gonna be wrong.
Yeah, no, that was actually he hit a bunch in here.
They should have put a Lamb of God song over there.
Right.
So naturally, they have to shoot it again. And then Tucker pokes fun at Henry saying that, hey, that'll give you something to talk about with your therapist, yeah? Fucking farm boy.
Love Tucker.
The group then heads outside, and they are absolutely surrounded by sheep. Tucker shows no fear, along with Experience, who's got plenty of it, as they walk through the herd of sheep. And they turn around, and they see Henry, who's just quivering. And Tucker goes, I'll get the truck. You get Henry, yeah? So she turns around, she goes back, and Experience drops the most hippie shit I've ever heard in my life. She's like, you can do this. You're a tree. You are a tree. Feel your chakra. Your chakra is into your roots. Feel the soil. He's like, I can feel it. And she just goes, really? I felt like she was going to be like, no, this really doesn't work. I'm full of shit. And she's like, feel it in your twigs, in your leaves, in your branches.
Why don't you make like a tree and leaf, mate?
Yeah, well, why don't you make like a tree and get the fuck out of here?
Guys, grounding is very important. Like, you got to align your chakras and ground. It is.
But you probably have stones, don't you?
Don't you want to feel like energy from Earth?
I mean, I get it. I've never tried that stuff. Yeah. But just as he like fully commits to this, and like you could tell like his breathing is in line and he's ready to walk out into the sheep, fucking Taka dude beeps the horn and goes, hurry the fuck up.
He's awesome.
It scares the shit out of him. They hop into the back of the truck and Tucker goes to drive away. And just as they take off, Henry cops like a quick feel into Waterboy's turn. I mean, Experience's chest.
Yeah, Experience. It's all about experiences.
Did you say he experienced that chest?
Yeah, it's all about the experiences. Just
can we just talk about how fucking awesome Tucker is real quick?
Dude,
he's fucking amazing, mate.
You can tell he is like a genuine friend. Like, obviously, they grew up together and he was the other kid on the quad when they were herding the sheep.
Mm-hmm.
But he is so quick-witted and such like a smart ass. Like, when they pull up to the sheep to like move it out of the road, he looks at him and goes, all right, farm boy, let's see what you got, yeah? Get out of the fucking truck.
Oh, I love him.
And then he's like, all right, we're going to move the sheep and just put it right over that fence there.
He's almost
like,
as quick.
Yeah. I got to make a quick phone call. And he goes, fucking kid.
That's like Glenn, dude. He's quick with his fucking.
Yeah, shout out Glenn. Glenn's the man.
All right, so the fight between Sheep and Alpha commenced with an attempt to get the chainsaw. Tucker gets his foot bit, and Tucker climbs out, and they all jump out of the truck. And there's a sheep driving a truck, Justin. What the hell's that?
Yes,
you do not skip over that chainsaw scene.
You
go back and you tell him he was cranking it, and Experience goes, "Is the choke on?" So he puts the choke on and cranks it. And then there's enough time for Tucker to go, you gotta prime it. So he primes it. And then as he cranks it and it kicks on, he fucking throws it clean off the truck.
Don't need that fucker.
It was at this really quick before you keep talking. It was at this point of the movie where I knew I was in for something special. Solid build up and everything. But the second I saw this chainsaw scene and then the sheep driving, it was everything I ever wanted in a movie. And
Justin, this is the point in the movie where I went from, this is all right, quick couple of puns. This is not too bad.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fuck, dude, I should have told Waterboy one in the middle of the movie.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I was gonna say from this point on, this movie, I love every single thing that possibly happened. Sorry, go ahead and talk.
All right, so Experience says, woo, that's a long way down. Would hate to fall down there. And then we learn that that's how Henry's dad fell to his death. Very sad. Time to hoof it to the house to let everyone know what's going on.
Just real quick. With that trip, I know this is like low budget. It's a B-class movie, but I love how true they stay to the accident. You can tell it rolls down the hill. There's no crazy ass fucking Hollywood explosion.
Yeah.
But when that truck crashes and the door springs open, you can still see a fake sheep in the driver's seat. And there is blood squirted all over the windshield and on the door. Perfect. Chef's kiss. I love this movie.
I love the gore and the special. Other stuff. Sorry. I'm just so excited.
Right.
All right. Go ahead.
All right, so we got Angus getting ready for the big reveal of a new sheep. And then we switch over to a horrible dog impression as the scientist throwing remnants into an awful pit. And then he gets eaten by a sheep.
What one might say he got a rim job.
He did.
That sheep took a chunk out of that ass.
Switch over to Angus driving, and he runs into Grant, who looks even worse, but still acting like a normal human until he bites Angus on the hand and runs off. So Tucker wasn't kidding when he said they were going to hoof it. While checking his foot, we see that he indeed has a fucking hoof.
Justin, a fucking hoof? Are you kidding me?
It just keeps getting better. It just keeps getting better.
And it's not like a full werewolf transformation. This dude literally, from the kneecap down, is
fucking sheep. Hoof.
So good.
And the flock is heading their way. Luckily, they stumble on Angus's laboratory where the sheep experiments have been taking place. Where there's a sheep strung up and cut open with its heart still beating.
Where there's a sheep, there's a way. Sorry.
It is. The sheeple. It's the future and very profitable. Tucker gets a shot in the neck and experience, and Henry back out and leave from one shit situation and to another bad one. Heading for the pit, they jump in and land in a huge pile of sheep shit and guts. Back at the lab, they see Tucker's hoof, and Nurse hides it as Angus walks in. I guess they didn't want him to see it, like he hasn't seen any crazy shit already. And his bite on his hand isn't looking too swell.
Dude, that interaction between the two, when she's like, oh, you didn't care about my reputation.
It's a
when
little
we
sus.
did some extracurricular activities.
It's a little sus.
All I can think about was, no way this dude made her dress as a sheep.
Who did?
But
he's a bad boy.
Later on in the movie, we know that he made her dress as a sheep to do some kinky ass stuff.
Justin's part right yet. Back in the hole, the sheep have jumped in the hole and are chasing them, and luckily they squeeze out of a small opening with the help of some words of encouragement about being a tree and proceed to light the sheep on fire.
Dude, that sheep went up fast. Well, I mean, we did learn earlier in the movie that fucking animal flatulence is like a huge contributor to methane gases and all that crap.
It is true. Stumbling on another shed and hearing Shear's experience, and Henry head in to see a man bear sheep shearing itself. It's Grant.
South Park.
He's had a complete transformation. Big nope. They make a run for it and get the fuck out of there. Transition back to the lab with Tucker on the table, who's going through his own transformation with the amniotic fluid being injected and becoming a man bear sheep as well. But with a shot, he turns straight back to normal.
These practical effects are fucking amazing.
They are.
Dude, right?
Absolutely
they really
amazing.
They did
That's
really
why I was shocked at
effects.
how good, like how
Justin, do you remember when we did Silver Bullet?
Yeah.
And we talked about how much we love the werewolf transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how incredible the in-between transition looks. Bro, the in-between from human to full sheep is amazing.
We need more of that.
I was shocked at how like awesome the effects are in this movie. Awesome.
It's crazy. There's just the sheer transformation.
Yeah. And then the shaking around and stuff, I get that's how you make it choppy and cut it together. But like instead of making it like a quick switch, that transition was perfect.
They need to do that in more movies, like doing the makeup and doing like sort of almost like a stop motion type of deal.
Exactly, dude. Hey, all future werewolf movies out there, take fucking notes.
Dude, I wrote that. I can't wait to talk about this at the end. I can't.
Do it. So he turns straight back to normal. And it's speech time. Konnichiwa, Justin. It's your turn.
Oh, so the big moment is upon us. It is speech time. It is time for the presentation of the new sheep and everything. So here is Angus. And man, this guy is not looking good. He is dripping sweat. The sheep is buying as he's talking. And we get a quick lab scene, quick cut to the lab scene, and we see a full sheep monster. And they end up shooting him with antidote, like an antidote. And we see him turn back into a person. And we see the woman say, "Oh, wow, maybe Angus does need a shot." So she realizes now I have to go see Angus and give him a shot. We see her leave, the scientist, mad scientist woman leave, and we see sheep just ripping apart people. We get an awesome scene where she goes through the forest, and you just hear like Baaads coming from like it's like such a quick scene, and even the scene was so awesome of just her being in the forest, like panicking like a slasher.
This gives me off those like
yeah, that's what I mean. Like this felt like a quick like homage to the slasher movies where someone's hiding from Jason, and then of course at the last second she turns around and there's a sheep right there as it goes to rip her apart. And we go back to Angus now. He's addressing the crowd, and the sheep is going nuts, and he's kind of looking a little nervous at the sheep, and he unveils the sheep. And at the same time, now we hear something. We hear something in the distance getting louder and louder and louder. And it pans over, and we see a sheep stampede coming. Brace yourself, guys, because if this wasn't ridiculous already, it just gets absolutely out of control.
This looks like a scene where you watch like an old Western movie or something, or like Lord of the Rings, when all the fucking horses come like just barreling ass down the hill, dude. Oh, it's a stampede of sheep.
So many of them, and from a distance we see Experience and Henry see it from a distance, and we actually see Mrs. Mack say, hey, jump in, grabs them in the car, they take off, and then we get an absolute massacre. We see the sheep just pulling out, and now they are all out. They are pulling out people's intestines. They are biting faces off. They are
just the lips.
They are ripping limbs off. We see one guy with his leg. He actually grabs his leg is detached. He actually like grabs his own leg and throws it at the sheep.
And he misses.
And he misses.
That, you fucking cunt.
Oh my god!
These sheeps are biting, ripping throats. And like the gore is actually incredible. Like these effects of this massacre,
really amazing.
Is really, really good. And
the lipless guy begging for help. He looks like, what's that game where you put that thing in your mouth and it like,
dude, that
heals your fucking lips back?
Yeah.
Oh man,
awesome. And at this point now we see Angus kind of just walking around panicking, but his hand now is a full freaking sheep hoof, a full sheep hoof. We see him. Yeah, we see him take off, so he's gone now. So we see, and like I said, Mrs. Mack and Experience and Henry, they go back to the home. We're in the home now, and out of nowhere, as soon as they're in the home, we see a monster. We see a full, like, were-sheep Grant. This dude is massive now. He is a full sheep monster. They throw, like, the haggis at him at the start, and they start throwing food at this guy. We get a full food fight with a sheep monster. I mean, have you ever seen that before?
Not the haggis.
They're trying to shoot him. They can't get the bullets right away, so Experience grabs a knitting needle and actually stabs him. And he drops, and they're like, "What did you do?" And it was actually like an acupuncture point, of course, because she doesn't want to hurt him. And
she goes, "It's either going to put temporary paralysis or in a coma." And he goes, "How do you know which one you did?" And she goes, "Well, he fell down, didn't he?"
Yeah, exactly. We'll know in a couple minutes. And we hear the evil Baaads getting closer and closer, and we pan around. Their sheep is all over. The whole entire house is surrounding. They try to open a door that's locked, and they burst into the study. And guess who's in there? Angus is in there, and he doesn't even have pants on. He's in there
smoking a cigarette.
He's in there smoking a cigarette in his boxer shorts.
This is that scene I was talking about where we find out later that we know he made her dress up.
Because at first we just see that they start arguing. He's like, "What have you done?" They call each other wankers, and then we see a freaking sheep run out. And
you can't kill family.
Yeah, and he's like, "What have you done? What have you done?" He's like, "They're gonna kill you out there, Angus." And basically that's when he says, "Yeah." He's like, "What? I don't think they will." He says how you can't kill family. He says, "You know how they're genetically altered?" He's like, the genetically altered with DNA. They are family. So holy crap! Just when you
I didn't make this sheep in a lab, if you know what I'm saying.
So just when you think this movie can't get more absurd, it gets more absurd. They leave Angus there and run out. Honestly, I would have shot him right there. I don't even care if he's my brother. I would have shot him right there. But anyway,
I'm just saying, for foreshadowing, Angus does get karma later on.
We'll call it karma.
We'll call
At this point, just every single second, you think the movie can't get more absurd, and the movie's like, "Here, hold my beer." You look outside, and now you see all the dead people turning into were sheep, just tons of them. We see Henry, and it looks like he's actually bitten right now, so this sucks. Henry, we see Angus walk right through all the sheep. He is going for the barn where the plane is to escape, and they're like, "Oh my god, we can't let him go. Like this could affect the whole entire world." And they say, "You know what, Mrs. Mack and Experience, you guys go. Like I'm gonna stay here." And he's like, and you see Henry's like panicking. I don't know what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna get through this. Well, they have an awesome idea. He grabs a sheepskin and
you think it's awesome right now. Just wait until it happens.
He dresses in sheep wool, and we cut to the scene where he is walking through all these sheep. You see, there is sheep people just feasting on the stuff with all the evil sheep, and he is repeating his mantra, I am a sheep. I am a sheep. I'm a sheep. And then from behind, a sheep starts going to town on him, if you know what I mean. This sheep is completely on him, pumping him, making all the sounds. Like, what is this? Is incredible. He kicks the thing. Sorry, I don't mean like it's just unbelievable.
Really? You like it?
He kicks the sheep in the balls. Sheep falls off.
No.
He's
he stabbed it.
He stabs, the sheep in the
just for all you sheep out there listening and tuning in.
Yeah.
No means no.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter what. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. So, and at this point now, so he is fully exposed, without, well, not, the sheepskin.
He's counseling after this.
I mean, if you're allergic to latex, that's what you got to use.
Dear God, it keeps getting better because now at this point we see Mrs. Mack in Experience, and she's teaching her how to use a shotgun. And Mrs. Mack is laughing as she's driving the car with Experience hanging out of the car, just blasting sheep, blasting the were sheep people. Unbelievable. We see Angus in the barn, and we start seeing in a transformation scene where Angus is struggling, making sounds. And honestly, this is such an incredible scene. Kind of how Sean was talking about earlier, like werewolf movies. I actually even wrote a note, like people who love werewolf movies, like this has so many werewolf special effects in it this transformation is incredible. Henry arrives. We get a full-on battle. They are fighting back and forth. Henry's actually getting his ass kicked before he ends up stabbing Angus. And now we go to the field. Henry runs up to the field. The plane is moving through the field because Angus already started it with the propeller. So we got a plane just going around by
itself. He started it like a G.
Yeah.
He just walked up and was like,
walked up, just grabbed the propeller, threw it with one hand. Now we
can't start a chainsaw like that, you bitch.
Right? We got an incredible showdown in the field. We get Angus versus Henry. And as they're about to fight, we get the sheepdog coming back. And we get him saying, what's his name? Henry keeps, hold him, boy, hold him, boy. So the sheepdog is holding Angus, doing his little thing. And meanwhile, the plane is coming to him in the background, and he gets absolutely shredded by this propeller. This is one of the greatest scenes in cinematic history, probably. Maybe not. There was also an Indiana Jones movie.
It was awesome, though.
It was awesome.
But it was so awesome.
The plane.
So just when you think he's dead, he's not dead. He is getting up behind him, and he's just an absolute monster still. And just when you think you can't, what is going to happen next? We get Tucker. Tucker is back. He flies in on his quad. He actually looks like a person again, and he's got like a backpack on with like you'd be spraying stuff.
It is like a portable gas tank.
Yeah,
with a lever, and
and he flies in and he starts shooting. I just completely lost where I am.
He stuffs it in his mouth and pulls the handle
and pulls the trigger, pumps it, shoots him, and he gets in. We get it in like anti-transformation scene where he just starts going like crazy like that, and he goes back to person. He's like,
"Do that again, Justin."
Yeah, that was embarrassing. I just did that.
That was awesome.
It was like the House on Haunted Hill thing.
Yeah, right. And we see him. He's okay. So they spray Angus now, and then he just looks like he maybe could be actually dead at this point because you see him as a person and he's absolutely shredded. So at this point, they're herding everyone back into the shed. And then, of course, Angus, this dude won't die. He looks half dead. He is looks like a person, but an absolute zombie just walking naked. He walks right into the corral with all these sheep, and he's like, it's not over. And it's only just begun. And he puts his arms. He's like, babies, have me again. I don't even know how to. They start eating
did.
him. They start eating him.
Oh yeah, they had him.
And,
what did they start with, Justin?
They may have. I guess I'm gonna have to explain this scene because if I don't, they're gonna jump in. So I guess
Say it.
They all right. Whoa. All right. So they bite his junk and they
they bit his dick off.
They bite his talent.
They stretched it first
and they pull and you literally see
Justin, we're not getting past this scene until you say penis, dick, or go a cock or something.
Well, all right. He grabbed his tallywhacker and stretched it. It looked like it looked like a sausage just being stretched, and it gets pulled right off, and he is getting absolutely just eaten alive. And they start farting.
He got circumcised, Justin.
Can we move past this? They start farting a lot. And they say, wait, methane. And we see Henry flick a lighter. He throws a lighter. Boom! We get an action. What
that's not the explosion sound.
I just thought it. Oh my God.
And they go, boom,
Sorry. I just literally short circuited there.
Could you imagine if they use that as a sound effect? You just see the barn blow up and it goes.
Let's run. Oh God, let's not pull that clip. Let's try that again. We get an action movie worthy explosion, and then we cut to the next day and we see the remainder of the sheep. They're corralling everyone. It's daylight, and they're all getting sprayed with the antidote. We see a group of people that are actually like the people that came back from the sheep. They're literally like acting like sheep in the corner corral. We see Grant being saved. He's a mess. He is crying. He's going to cuddle with all the other sheep people, and we see Mrs. Mack jump on. They're all laughing, have a moment. She says, "Oh, you guys want some mountain oysters?" They all say no, but Experience says yes. She eats some mountain oysters. We see him whisper to her ear, "You know what those are? You know you're eating sheep balls, right?" And as we're panning out for a nice
it was Angus's.
For a nice happy ending, we see the last scene we see is the sheepdog, and it just goes bah, and then cut scenes to the credits. Movie over. What do you guys think? What do you want to talk about?
Just real quick before we dive into this. I have two scenes in this movie. One I absolutely love, and the second was a boneheaded choice.
Okay.
All right. So the boneheaded choice, when they're in those caverns and they're fishing through like the sheep guts, are you going to throw the candle or the lighter? Because he throws the candle to light the sheep on fire. I mean, I get it pays off later on. But my natural reaction is I'm going to hold on to the candle because I think it would burn a little longer than the lighter would, and I don't know what I'm getting out of there. That was my first reaction. And then my favorite scene
I would have definitely thrown the candle.
Is when they're facing off with Grant when he's like fully transformed, and Experience goes to shame him, and it works. She goes, "Grant, is that blood on your face? Have you been eating meat?" And he like puts his head down in shame.
Oh.
And she just goes, "Was it even organic?"
Dude, the fact that he still has like human emotion.
Yeah. All right, Waterboy, let us know what you thought and give us your rating.
I thought it was going to be bad, but it was good. It was I raised my score. I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Whoa!
For the sheer fun that this movie put me through. And it was pretty awesome. I mean, I never would have thought that I would have ever seen a sheep driving a car before, but I did.
Incredible.
And who would have thought that they could do something like this? Honestly,
right? And
this was amazing. Yeah, they pulled this off beautifully.
They pulled it off, and just like even with the sound effects of like the sheep randomly like taking people out, and you could just hear the bat like as they're taking people out.
Dude, so good.
And it was kind of creepy, dude, when they could get these sheep to just randomly just appear and just sit there and just staring at them. It was awesome.
Oh my God, this is incredible. I can't wait. Sean, what are your thoughts?
So, like, dude, if you can't tell by my excitement throughout this podcast, the practical effects in this movie, amazing. Just the cinematography and the way they used the landscape to their advantage and how vast it was, beautiful. I love everything about this movie. I had no idea what I was getting into because the only thing I watched in that trailer was just enough to make that clip. So I literally had no idea that it was going to start out with kids and then fast forward to the future. I was fucking lost. And on that first watch, being lost, I gave it like a 5. And then I went back and I watched it a second time. And it changed my score, but for the better, because then I knew a little bit about the storyline. I knew a little bit about what was going to happen, why everything was going on the way it was. The taglines in this movie: violence of the lambs, sheer enjoyment. The fact that his brother is fucking lambs. Like, are you kidding me? The fact that the genetically engineered fucking perfect sheep is from his semen is just, it's gross, but it's awesome at the same time that they would go down that road.
Right?
I couldn't, dude, with the white t-shirt, no pants, and smoking a cigarette, bro.
Dude. It's just such classy fun, but it leaves things to your imagination that lets it run wild.
Yes.
And like we were talking about the kills earlier, like it just simply bites off the dude's lips. Amazing. The dude that gets his leg ripped off and then goes to throw it, but he's got the arm strength of a 2-year-old and barely makes it back to where his leg was originally attached to his body.
So funny.
Is amazing. The characters, great acting. I think they played great, spontaneous, funny. There's no real. You could probably shave 10 minutes out of this movie, and it would be so much better.
It's sheer.
I give it a 7.9. And Justin, I don't care what everyone at work said when you were excited. No one pulled the wool over my eyes with this movie. This was amazing. A 7.9. If you haven't seen this, much like Willy's Wonderland, you need to watch this at least once in your fucking life.
They definitely pulled it off like the same way that the sheep did with Angus in the last scene.
Yes.
Love it. And obviously, I mean, my thoughts, after seeing this, so I love dumb, like bad horror movies, but that are like fun. And this, I honestly think, is elite stupid horror, or whatever you want to call that. I don't have much to add to what they said because they kind of said a lot of my thoughts. So like I love movies like Zombievers. I don't know if anyone's seen that. Like I love that one. Mosquito from the 90s is one of my favorites. Like this is way up there for me. I give this an 8.5 out of 10 just on the fun scale, and kind of just because like what they said, like parts of it look creepy. The effects were pretty awesome. So yeah, 8.5. You guys got any fun facts or anything we want to talk about?
I gotta say, the fact that you were talking about Mosquito,
have you
not
seen
like
that?
This movie. I have seen that, and I've also seen another weird movie from like the Sci-Fi Channel that's almost like a praying mantis, where they're like aliens and they're like biting people's heads off. Dude,
those kind of movies are so much fun.
Oh my god, we gotta do a month of this type of thing.
Justin, you want to take us away with some fun facts and maybe some maybe a Halloween tie-in?
I know. So the Halloween tie-in, I know there was a few horror references in here, as the one that was very obvious was The Shining. You literally have a sheep head smashed through the door, like Jack Nicholson saying, "Here's Johnny." Like that was absolutely incredible. They had the old station wagon that kind of reminded me of Halloween. That's the only one I kind of saw. But it was filmed in New Zealand. And it actually to get the sheep driving that car, that actually took them like 4 days to actually film that scene. And a really cool tie-in that I noticed when I was looking for my Halloween tie-in, because usually I don't mention it if you just see like, oh, a few people were involved in this other movie. 30 Days of Night. So 30 Days of Night is like one of my favorite vampire horror movies.
Easily top 2.5.
Over 30, maybe even up to 40 people in this movie was involved in 30 Days a Night. I'm talking visual effects, special effects, like art stuff.
Crazy.
Even Angus, I don't know who John is Angus is in 30 Days of Night. I don't remember who John is from 30 Days of Night. He played whoever John is. I can't picture who John is. I'm not even going to lie and pretend that I know off the top of my head. Who knows? It could just be a side character. But never mind that Angus is in. He plays John in it. I was looking at like special effects teams, so that kind of probably should. I mean, if anyone has seen the effects and how great 30 Days a Night, I don't know how this guy got half that team to work on this movie, but that probably just shows how good this movie is. And Mrs. Mack, she was actually in Dead or Alive, so I thought that was really cool too.
That's awesome.
that a lot of these actors I've never heard of actually had a lot of horror movies, especially and Angus, one of my favorite horror shows ever. I don't watch a lot of TV series, but I am obsessed with Evil Dead, and Ash vs. Evil Dead is my favorite horror show in the history of the planet.
It's so good. I wish they'd made it more.
Yeah, don't even get me started with that. But Angus was even in like I think 1 or 2 episodes of that as a side character. So like there was some great connections in this movie.
Sean, have you seen the Evil Dead show?
Yes, I watched the first 2 seasons.
I actually teared up a little because after the first episode of that, I realized this is everything. This is specifically made for me so much.
Dude, it really is.
Dude, it was so.
I didn't even
when they ended it and canceled it, I was so mad, dude. I was
and
so
you know,
mad.
you guys know me. I don't watch like TV series. There's like maybe 2 like that. And
no, dude, I've been begging you to watch TV series for how long?
And yeah, and I won't even entertain it. I'm not even.
You got to open your mind.
I'm just not. I don't have time.
Well, not only because you won't have time, but it's a lot of the shows end up like canceling, and then you're just sort of let down because you're not going to get to see it anymore.
All right. Anyway, Black Sheep first. We can talk about the TV series another time. But yeah, you guys got anything else to add to this movie?
I think that just about wraps it up, boys.
I think so too.
All right, Hack Stab Slash. It's that time of the episode. I'm Hacky. That's Stabby. This guy over here.
Let's go. Just Justin. Peace out.
All right. Peace out. We'll be back next week.
Yes.
Actually, real quick. Justin.
But wait.
You said there's a ton of horror references. How did we miss this one, dude? That cover that's right behind you.
Mm-hmm.
How is that not the bus from Dawn of the Dead when they're driving through the hordes of zombies?
The crowd. I know there was a few more that I forgot to name because I remember I read them because I saw an interview with the horror director and he was talking about there was a few other ones in here too. But yeah, that could be it too. If I look at the sea of sheep just surrounding them, and they're pretty much like zombie sheeps too. So pretty awesome.
All right, for real this time, Hack Stab Slash. Follow us on all platforms. Come have a chat with us. Let us know what's up. I'm Hacky. That's Stabby. This guy over here is definitely 100% Slashy. All right, we out. Later.
Yep.